Welcome to This Explainer. I'm really glad you're tuning in today because we're looking at some absolutely critical weather data for the upcoming week. We're taking the latest, highly detailed info straight from the India Meteorological Department and turning it into a vital, actionable weather advisory specifically for our local farmers working hard across West Bengal. So, if you're managing crops, organizing field labor, or honestly just trying to protect your livelihood this week, This Explainer is exactly what you need.
Okay, let's quickly run through our agenda. First, the statewide weather divide. Second, the heavy rain warning for North Bengal. Third, storms and humidity in South Bengal. Fourth, we'll decode those IMD alerts. And finally, an action plan for farmers. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Part 1, the statewide weather divide.
So we're currently watching the southwest monsoon advancing, and it's literally splitting the state into two very distinct zones. The monsoon is moving in, right? But it isn't hitting everyone the same way. While the northern districts are bracing for widespread heavy rain, the southern districts are facing a totally different, yet equally dangerous threat. As a farmer, your preparations have to be hyper-local right now.
The really crucial takeaway here is this massive contrast. Farmers up in the sub-Himalayan regions are looking at intense waterlogging risks from massive rainfall. Meanwhile, down in the Gangetic regions, you guys got to prepare for brutal, oppressive heat mixed with sudden, dangerous lightning. You absolutely cannot use a one-size-fits-all approach to agriculture this week. Your game plan needs to match your specific zone.
Which brings us to Part 2, North Bengal and that heavy rain warning. Up north, the primary hazard is just the sheer volume of water. And listen, the threat isn't just a single day of bad weather. Looking ahead to June 20th, these intense weather systems are basically stalling over the region. Places like Jalpaiguri, Cooch Behar, and Alipurduar aren't just getting a passing shower. We're talking sustained, heavy downpours straight through the week. If you're working the fields in those northern districts, the data is pretty stark. We're talking severe rainfall alerts predicting 7 to 11 centimeters, and in some pockets, up to a massive 20 centimeters. But it's not just the water. You also need to prepare for 40 to 50 km/h thunder squalls. Winds moving at that speed, they can severely damage standing crops, snap stalks, and literally ruin yields in minutes.
Let's pivot to Part 3, South Bengal, where it's all about storms and humidity.
Moving down to the Gangetic Plains, the story completely flips to a really dangerous mix of heat and sudden storms. 97 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the forecasted high for Kolkata and surrounding areas this week. But remember, with that thick pre-monsoon humidity, the real feel, or the heat index on your body, is much higher. It actively stops your sweat from evaporating to cool you down. For anyone doing physical labor out in the fields, this is a serious health hazard.
But crazy enough, the heat is only half the story. While rainfall is going to be isolated to scattered through June 16th, the IMD is warning about the imminent danger of isolated thunderstorms and intense lightning. Because these storms are isolated, they can pop up totally out of nowhere after hours of baking heat, threatening anyone working out in open, exposed fields with deadly lightning and sudden gusty winds.
Okay, Part 4, decoding the IMD alerts. To actually prepare properly, we need to decode these color-coded warnings so we don't underreact or, overreact. You might hear the term red warning on the radio and instantly picture a catastrophic event. But as a professional farmer, you need to know this specific terminology just means immediate, physical preparations are required. It means stop planning and start doing.
As the IMD explicitly states, a red color warning doesn't mean red alert. It simply means take action. So this is a call for agricultural preparation, not panic. It's a directive to deploy your protective measures right now. Whether that's digging drainage trenches up north or adjusting work hours down south, a red warning means it's time to execute your safety plans.
And that perfectly sets up Part 5, our action plan for farmers. So, based on all this data, what exact actions should you be taking today? Well, first, let's address the human element in those intensely hot South Bengal areas. The absolute priority is protecting your farm workers. Mandate those hydration breaks. People need to be drinking sufficient water even if they don't actively feel thirsty. Because honestly, by the time thirst hits in 97-degree heat, dehydration has already begun. And definitely keep a close eye on your older workers. Let's quickly walk through a few critical, practical steps you can implement today. Number 1, keep traditional, highly effective homemade drinks like torani, which is rice water,
Lassie or ORS readily available right at the edge of the fields. Number 2, if you're up north, you must tie down or physically secure any vulnerable standing crops before those 50-kilometer-per-hour squalls hit. And number 3, and this applies absolutely everywhere, you gotta have a strict rule to immediately clear open fields at the very first sign or sound of a lightning storm. A crop can always be regrown, but a life cannot be replaced.
I'll leave you with this final, vital thought. Knowing exactly what's coming, knowing that both extreme, sustained rain and severe, dangerous heat are arriving across different parts of our state this very week, what is your immediate plan today to safeguard your livelihood and your community? Take this data, lock in your plan, and stay safe out there. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.